I am Freya, and my story is one of vengeance forged from pain. My father, Gideon Varnholt, was a man whose words cut deeper than any blade. "You'll never be a real man, Freya," he'd sneer, his breath heavy with whiskey, his eyes cold with contempt. "Weak, soft, always lost in your pathetic dreams." Those words haunted the halls of our decaying manor in Blackthorn, a town suffocated by coal dust and broken promises. I was his only child, his heir, but to him I was nothing but a disappointment who could never live up to his legacy. He was wrong. This is how I proved it, how I built an empire from his ruins, and how the man who called me worthless ended up sweeping my floors. Blackthorn was a shadow of itself when I was young. Once a thriving steel town, it had crumbled under Gideon's mismanagement. He'd been a titan in his prime, a steel baron whose name opened doors. But by the time I was born, his empire was rust and regret, and he blamed everyone but himself, especially me. I was 10 when he first called me useless, standing in the manor's drafty kitchen as he clutched a bottle. At 12, he said I'd never amount to anything, his voice a growl as he tossed my sketches of wind turbines into the fire. By 16, I stopped crying. His words didn't break me, they tempered me, like steel in a forge. My mother, Alira, was long gone dead or vanished, I never knew which. Her only gift was a whispered truth. Power isn't given, Freya, it's taken. I carried that like a talisman. At 18, I left Blackthorn. I didn't run. I walked, head high, with a bag slung over my shoulder and $237.42 in my pocket, earned from scrubbing dishes at a diner. Gideon stood in the doorway, laughing, his voice slurred. "You'll crawl back, girl. You're nothing without me." I didn't answer. I boarded a bus to the city, its lights a beacon of possibility. The city was a beast, all noise and hunger, but I was hungrier. I found work as a bartender, pouring drinks for men who echoed Gideon loud, entitled, fading. Every tip I saved, every shift I endured, was a step towards something bigger. I wasn't just surviving. I was planning. In a dingy diner at 3 a.m., I met Zoran Velt, a coder with eyes like a fox and a chip on his shoulder sharper than mine. He was 20, living in a basement cluttered with monitors and empty energy drink cans, building apps for startups that paid in broken promises. Over bitter coffee, we bonded over our mutual rage at a world that overlooked us. Zoran was brilliant, his fingers weaving code like a sorcerer casting spells. He'd hacked bank systems for fun, never stealing, just proving he could. "You want to win, Freya?" he said one night, his voice low with conviction. "Build something they can't ignore." I told him my dream, to revive Blackthorn, to turn its rusted steel mills into hubs for green technology, solar panels, wind turbines, a future forged from ashes. Zoran didn't laugh. He nodded, cracked his knuckles, and said, "Let's do it." We started small, scraping by on fumes and ambition. I worked nights, dodging drunks and pocketing tips. Zoran coded in a haze of caffeine, designing a solar cell, cheap, efficient, revolutionary. We called it the Varnell, a name that was both a tribute to my lineage and a defiance of Gideon's scorn. 2 years of sleepless nights and empty bank accounts got us a prototype, but we needed capital to scale. That's when Lysara Quinn entered the picture. She was a venture capitalist with a smile like a guillotine and an instinct for untapped potential. We met her at a pitch event in a sterile conference hall, where I stood in a thrift store suit presenting to a room of investors who smirked at the Varnholt name. Gideon's fall was infamous, a cautionary tale of hubris. Lysara didn't smirk. She leaned forward, her questions sharp as scalpels, dissecting our plan with precision. When I finished, she slid me her card. "You've got fire, Freya. she said. Don't let it burn you out. Her funding was the spark we needed. At 22, I founded Solvents, a company dedicated to transforming Blackthorn's decay into a green revolution. Zoran ran the tech division, his code the backbone of our Varnell production. Lysara joined as a strategic advisor, her connections opening doors I didn't even know existed. We hired Tavian Roke, a logistics prodigy from Blackthorn who knew every back road, every warehouse, every local official who could be swayed with a handshake or a bribe. Tavian was loyal, not to me, but to the idea of reviving his hometown. Then Calith Wren, a PR mastermind who could spin a story so compelling that even the most jaded reporters believed we were visionaries. Calith had a knack for turning our gritty reality into a narrative of hope, her press releases painting Solvance as the savior of Blackthorn. Together, we were an unstoppable team of misfits who refused to lose. Solvance grew like wildfire. By 25, we'd retrofitted 4 of Blackthorn's old mills into state-of-the-art facilities for solar and wind tech. The Varnell powered thousands of homes, its design patented and licensed across the country. Solvance was valued at $500 million, 0 cents, and Blackthorn was alive again with new jobs, new schools, and new hope. I bought the old Varnholt Manor, not to live in its creaking halls, but to own the past that had tried to break me. I walked its rooms once, saw the ghosts of Gideon's insults, and locked the door. My future was elsewhere. Gideon, meanwhile, had faded into a shadow. He'd sold everything, the last of his stocks, his car, even the family silver, living off cheap liquor in Blackthorn's dive bars. I didn't seek him out. My victory was in my work, in the town I'd revived, in the name I'd made. But then he came to me. It was a Tuesday, gray and cold. I was in my office, a sleek glass tower overlooking Blackthorn's reborn skyline, when Gideon shuffled in. He was unrecognizable, gray hair thinning, shoulders hunched, threadbare. He didn't know me at first, didn't see the girl he'd mocked in the woman behind the desk, my name etched on a plaque, Freya Varnholt, CEO. I need a job, he muttered, eyes fixed on the floor. Heard you're hiring. I could have laughed, could have thrown him out. Instead, I leaned back, fingers steepled, and studied him. His hands trembled, his pride long gone. Why should I hire you? I asked, my voice cold as the winter outside. He flinched, maybe hearing the echo of his own cruelty in my tone. He mumbled about his experience, about knowing Blackthorn, about needing to eat. I let the silence stretch, let him feel the weight of his own insignificance. Then I slid a contract across the desk. Janitor, minimum wage, start tomorrow. He took it. No choice. The man who said I'd never be a real man now pushed a mop under my command. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. Every time he cleaned a floor, he saw my name on the building, my face on magazine covers, and my vision of the town's revival. Freya Varnholt, the woman who rebuilt Blackthorn from its ashes. The woman who proved him wrong. But revenge isn't as sweet as they say. It's heavy, like carrying a stone you can't put down. Gideon's words still lingered, scars beneath my success. I heard them in quiet moments when the world was still. So I kept building, not for him, but for me, for Zoran, who turned my ideas into reality with lines of code, for Lysara, who saw my potential when others saw only my father's failure, for Tyveen, who moved mountains to make our vision work, for Calith, who told the world our story and made them believe, for Blackthorn, which rose because I refused to let it die. Gideon still works for me, a ghost in my empire. I don't watch him clean. I don't need to. My eyes are on the horizon, on the next mill, the next innovation, the next piece of power to take. My mother was right. Power isn't given, it's taken, and I've taken mine. One victory at a time, until the man who called me nothing became nothing himself.